Okay, this is my first ever rhythm roulette, and I'm not gonna buy anything from the store for the first one. Instead, I'm actually on my Discogs, and I'm just gonna pick 3 records at random. So here I'm just shaking my phone and it picks random ones. Got Cannonball Adderley with Sergio Mendes. Got Metallica Kill 'Em All. And Lowlife by New Order. Okay, just continuing on my little commentary, I'm going to show you the albums to show I actually have them. There's Metallica Kill 'Em All, Lowlife New Order, and Cannonball Adderley with Sergio Mendes, Quiet Nights of Quiet Stars. And then just a little look at the back. So I'm doing this a little untraditionally. I'm actually going to be recording the full songs rather than just individual samples. I'm going to be recording them through Audacity for now just because of the DAW I use is a little buggy on Windows. And there's a little shitbox I'm going to do it on. Now I guess there's not a whole lot left to do but to cue these up. Just gotta kind of fit my hand in front of the fucking camera. Gingerly place it down. Nice. See that? Pro cueing skills. Nice and gentle. Okay, so now we're back at the DAW, and I was recording this off of my laptop and I didn't realize how much of a potato it was, so I don't know how much of this I'll keep in. But what I'm doing here is I pretty much wrote down some notes saying where in what songs there was things that I thought could be useful for a beat. I mean, I've never done this before, so what I was mostly listening for is I wanted drums. I wanted a good snare and a bass drum. Like just those two things. Like if I couldn't get a hi-hat, whatever. I did manage to get a cymbal noise out of the Cannonball Adderley. What you're actually seeing right here is me struggling to get the snare from the start of that New Order song you just heard cut out and into its own track so I can export it again. I pretty much just continued to do that for the rest of them. And because my computer is such a potato, you actually kind of miss the entirety of me arranging this stuff, so here I'm just kind of showing you what each sample was, although I've already altered the speed of them a little bit so that it matches up to the 77 beats per minute of the first one you heard there, which was kind of my main sample. That little bit of bass came out of Metallica, out of Anesthesia, I think. Pulling Teeth, whatever that one's called. Slowed down a little bit, and then this, the synth was also New Order, but I slowed it down like almost half speed. So it was like bah, 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 bah. And in this one it's just like so it's just long and droning along with that bass. And then those saxophones came out of a single song off Cannonball Adderley, but I don't remember what it was. And then here I'm just kind of going through all the different drum sounds I got, and you can see which albums I got them from. You know, I actually thought I was going to get a ton of good drums out of Cannonball Adderley and Sergio Mendes, but if the Canadian album had the same track name or album title as the American release, Bossa Nova, I think I would have realized that this is Latin jazz much sooner. So everything I got out there was kind of dirty because it's non-stop. There's always sound over top, so it's really hard to pull out any drums. You gotta kind of like read between the lines at like slow motion. And what you see here is I was arranging the drum tracks through MIDI and then just drawing them out. The reason I was doing this is because the way I have MIDI set up is that Grace plugin is my instrument, so I can load in samples and map them to a MIDI keyboard. But I don't have a keyboard, so what I was actually using was my computer keyboard. The letters Z through M and A through L would correspond to piano keys. So it was kind of difficult to get a grasp on that. You know, while I was doing this, it was kind of like to challenge myself almost, but I was a little bit scared with the things I got, because, I mean, I thought Cannonball Adderley was going to be my savior. I was going to have all the drums, and that didn't quite turn out that way. And then with New Order, I only knew they were New Wave, and I figured it would be like nothing but synths, and I wouldn't be able to pull anything out. Everything would have way too much reverb. And then Metallica, I mean, it's kind of hard to pull anything out of metal, really. I managed to get those, that tom fill and then pull a bass drum out of that. That was actually kind of nice, though, because throughout the entire Metallica album, the bass drum is very consistent without, I don't know if they had any effects on it, so it's just a very straightforward bass drum, and I could do whatever I wanted to it. And I think overall I did alright, so I'm gonna stop talking and you can listen to the loop.